I had been diagnosed in my early 20s with IgA nephropathy, being young, male, and the doctor had said, you'll most likely need a kidney transplant one day. Of course, being young, you just don't think that anything like that's ever going to happen. So you kind of dismiss it. You don't alter your lifestyle. You think you're 6 foot tall, bulletproof, she'll be fine. And then fast forward to my early 30s, I've reached for the first time end-stage renal failure. I had no idea, absolutely whatsoever. Never even researched dialysis patients. I was familiar, however, what kidney transplant meant, because my father's older brother actually had a kidney transplant approximately 15, 20 years prior to me having a kidney transplant. I had the first transplant in December of 2004, and it lasted approximately 15 years. Part of the process of ongoing transplant care is to see a doctor regularly if you're not feeling well, and it's so that they can monitor your blood levels to the kidney function to see how it's doing, whether they need to adjust the medication, and also monitor the side effects of the immunosuppressants and the medications that you're taking. But nonetheless, my family all got tested. I had relatives get tested, unbeknownst to myself, when they heard of my condition. I had friends, people who weren't related by the same DNA, wanting to go for a blood tissue type test to see if they would be compatible. So I was very, very grateful, very humbled by not only my family, especially my sister, my older sister.
Jayson kept his condition quite private before we actually knew. First learnt when our mother called me. I was living on the island at the time, and our mother called me to let me know that he needed a kidney transplant, and she asked me to come back over to the mainland to go and get tested to see if I was compatible. Yeah. You just got to look after each other, and we've done that since we were little fellas, I remember when I'll tell you a funny story, we was only young, and he decided he's going to climb this big tree in the backyard one day. I don't know what he was climbing up there for, but anyway, he fell out of the tree, and when he fell onto a brick, and it cut open his ankle and his foot. Well, me, big sister, I had to pick him up and carry him back up into the house because he couldn't walk and he was bleeding, crying. Come on, picked him up, carried him back up the house. We was only little fellas, but we've been like that since we were kids. Always. Anyway.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and I was still carrying him when he needed a kidney. I can't advocate enough for kidney transplant. Day after Jay had got his new kidney, and he's up and walking. And for us as a family, it was like a miracle to see that change literally overnight. He beat me out of the bed, hospital bed. And he's up walking around, and we were just like, couldn't believe it. But not only just his physical changes, but his whole outlook on life. So many new possibilities for him.
My sister-in-law, she had gone through approximately 6 months of testing to make absolute certain that she was going to be a good candidate. And we were at a family event one night. She said, "You're going to be there?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to be there." And she came up to me, and there was a lot of family members there. She just came up and told me that she said, "I've got a surprise for you." And I said, "What is it?" She goes, "You've got a donor, and it's me, and you've got a date, And I was very emotional, and just couldn't believe she did that, And I said, "Oh, look, the family's all here. Let's announce this, And she said, "Oh, no, I just want to keep it quiet." And I said, "No, this is the kind of news that we need at this point," because the family had gathered for an event that wasn't so nice, and it was kind of like it was a joyous moment that everyone felt and was like, "Oh, this is wonderful news,"
We have a family of five siblings, and look, we're like any other family. We have our ups and downs. We have our differences and that, but when it comes to important time and looking after one another, we've always done that. My brothers and sisters and I, where when we lost our dad, we carry each other. We carry everyone goes together. We don't leave one person to deal with it on their own. Same again when we lost our mother. Same both times when Jay had to get a kidney. We're very, very, and I don't think it's luck. I know that it's through genuine love and care for each other that we support one another. It doesn't matter who it is, but if you need help, everybody pitches in and helps out, whichever way they can.
There's more education today, particularly for Indigenous people, towards understanding what choices they can make at an earlier age and learn as they're getting older. My renal failure wasn't a case, or wasn't caused from making poor choices. And it's not always about health and eating. It's just my first renal failure was diagnosed due to a term that renal physicians term as IgA nephropathy. It's just one of those things. There are a lot of people that get it, people who eat healthy, people who exercise, they've been active, they don't drink, they don't smoke, they eat healthy, and all of a sudden they'll end up with renal failure.
Like any other chronic illness where there needs to be that awareness and education or preventative education. It's not down to just only lifestyle choices, but, the preventative information. How can we take care of our kidneys first before we get, so we can prevent ourselves or lower our risk of getting renal failure or kidney disease, but also not just with young people, but a lot of our elders.
Don't think that kidney dialysis or renal failure is a death sentence. First and foremost, it's not a death sentence. The technology has changed dramatically, even within the last 20 years since my first transplant. That was the first thing I noticed. But if you're a young person and you've been told you need to go on dialysis, you've got to have a transplant, don't think that it's a death sentence. Don't be scared, or you'll be fine. because you won't be fine, because you don't know how you're going to take things. But the best advice I would give is just, take it all in, but listen to the medical team that are going to be there to support you, and ask everything, ask questions. If you don't understand something, ask questions. But there are people there that are going to be with you. They're going to support you, and they're like a coach, just coaching you along the way, checking in on you.
We can have the support from our family and friends, but to have that support and care also from your local doctor is also important. Make sure you got a good doctor, good local doctor that's familiar with you. You're not just random walking in and then they forget who you are. To have a good doctor that is familiar with you and knows your background and follow-ups and that sort of stuff, that's important too. But I've never had a problem with my remaining kidney. Some people don't have big families like we do. They might not have any family at all. But there are people out there that can support you, that can help you and help you navigate through the process.
And and that's, for me personally, that's one thing that just drove me, all this time. It's just thinking about the things that I still had left that I wanted to do in this life, no matter how long or short it was. You know what? Honestly, I'm living it every day. The thing about renal failure is you really learn to appreciate the small things, the little things. I'm thankful I've got a roof over my head, money in my pocket, and I'm healthy, and I've got a beautiful family, beautiful son, beautiful friends, and life's great. Couldn't ask for more.